Mayor, Council, before you have a letter from John Bauer, who's the regional director out of the Denver Airport Development Office, offering the city a grant to reimburse us for the purchase of Maverik property, which was acquired for runway protection zone purposes. There's a grant agreement in there that offers that offers grants to the city for $1,305,547 with the matching responsibility of $67,496 from UDOT Aeronautics and from Heber City. The grant includes some funds to fence and put in a driveway access into the property, so that, because there's no curb cut on the property to access the building that the city anticipates may use for storage of city assets, that we don't have many good places to store things. As part of the grant agreement, there's associated grant assurances that the FAA requires the sponsor to be subject to as a condition of offering the money. Obligation to maintain the airport act in a non-discriminatory manner with the activities that go on there. I'm trying to download right now, this is coming slow. But there's about 39 grant assurances that the city's obligated to. And because this is a land purchase, there's an obligation to maintain the property for the duration, whatever that means. Under Section B, I don't know if there's any specific questions that the council has regarding any of the grant assurances or the grant itself. Council,
I'm sorry, I have many questions, but I think we will help from Mark Smedley. And also, when this commission grant was asked for by the city council, new information has come forth regarding the keeping the airport open forever, which was not, we were not aware of before. And so right now, I'd like to table this item for future discussion, legal discussion on May 19th.
The motion by Councilmember Franklin to table this item.
I second it.
Second by Councilmember Friedman. Any further discussion on the motion?
Is that going to create problems with deadlines with the building?
Well, I think in the first letter it indicates that they would expect a response by the end of May. That's how long the offer is being made available. It says the sponsor operator must execute the grant followed by the attorney certification earlier than May 31st, 2016 in order for the grant to be valid. So that's the deadline we had to approve the grant. Just delayed the time that we get the reimbursement of funds.
Kind of two parts to that. Part of that, I've read that, the May 31st, and so we can deal with the 19th. It seems pretty imperative that the input from our attorney, Mr. Smedley, is important to the 19th in as much as he'll only have a few more days to decide then his part of that, because we need to approve it by May 31st. Okay, so we're pushing you a little tight on that. Maybe you need to preview that and have that opinion. Maybe we kind of want that by the 19th anyway.
Well, let me ask this too. I appreciate that. If you can articulate the issues that you want me to look at, that will accelerate my ability to look and kind of prepare something for you.
That's appreciated. But however, even in the language of the grant itself, The acceptance is that it's been reviewed by our legal counsel. That's what I'm talking about. So you've apparently got to sign it along with the mayor. And so you need time to do that. We need maybe some help from you, and we can articulate our concerns by the 19th. But the other question I had of Mark is, have you ever experienced, and what would be the possibility if we can't get to the answers that are desired by the 19th, that would be extended? Or would they just say thanks for buying Maverik and we're gone now?
Well, I think I indicated by email, maybe, I don't know if all of you or not, but the FAA's expressed an interest in attending our next city council meeting and answering any questions the city council has. I know there's some hesitancy on some members of the council that have them here, but they'll be in the state of Utah and would be happy to answer any questions that you have in that regard.
But that wasn't my question to you, Mark, with all due respect. I said, if we don't do this by the 31st, here's the concern of some of the council, me at least, is that this is the first time we've accepted a grant where we knew that there was a condition of maintaining forever the airport. It's the first time we knew about it. You say it's the first time you knew about it. And so we can't accept this one in ignorance of that rule, because we're now made aware. To the best I can find out, nobody in this city, including you, was aware of it in the other grants that we accepted. And there is a provision in the FAA rules that say they're supposed to give an understanding to the sponsor of all of the things we were accepting in the issue, in accepting the grant. The FAA wants to pass that off by saying that's this little one sentence that I could read to anyone that wants me to. That's all that was needed to educate us about that in perpetuity. It's something you missed. It's something all the other councils and mayors and everybody else missed. They're obligated to help us, to educate us, and even beyond that, they're obligated to tell us every 3 years what our obligations with our grants are, not just in this particular case. I can read that if you want me to pull it out.
No, you have it on the May 19th, you can bring it in, and those questions.
So, but I'm not asking.
Checking for them what they're...
The non-answer was, I'm not asking her to be here then. I'm asking...
We don't have any experience with not responding.
Not accepting it. Okay. It may take longer, so you could reach out. The reason I had indicated even earlier to Mark, I guess we could take a consensus of the council on that, but that we are working on some things which will be part of the next agenda item. And I posed that question to Chafet's office earlier today. It is somewhat premature to have them come now after waiting 4 months from when they said they were coming. Just 2 weeks or maybe 3 or 4 weeks at the most from when the delegation is going to pose questions to the FAA that are more detailed than we can pose to her now, and they're being asked of people up the chain of authority, maybe beyond higher than them. And so it's premature to have her come answer questions that we're asking to be answered by people above her within a couple of weeks afterward. So I think we're going to want them to come. We hope they'll come. But it's premature to have her come the 19th and discuss things that haven't been posed to her superiors yet, but they're right on the cusp of being done. So that's just to his additional comment on my question. But the answer is you don't know if they'll go beyond that or what will happen.
No, it's never.
In the worst case, in the best case, we'll know what we need to by the 19th. In the worst case, we won't pass it, and we'll have a piece of property and we decide whether to resell it or they may re-offer their grant. I don't know. But
you said that she can be here on the 19th. That week anyway.
Yeah, I indicated they'd be willing to attend the airport board on the 18th and the city council on the 19th. They're in Salt Lake on the 18th.
Because they're already here, and I might be premature, but they're here. There's a few questions probably get in front of them now, get some answers in 2 weeks, 3 weeks with income. But anyway, we'll do it.
Mayor, let's discuss that maybe when we get done with all of this, because I'll take a motion if I need to. It's not in order right now.
What we have is a motion to do to table this item, is number 7. Any other discussion on this motion has been stated? This to be taken to the 19th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That item is moved to the 19th. Item 8, the resolution was put together by Senior Council Member Mr. Ron Quinn. And document from the council, first time the council had an opportunity to review it. Maybe Mr. Creighton could read through it.
Let me preface I got it to you as soon as I could. I worked all day long on it, and I shouldn't have taken the day for other personal matters yesterday. But before I do that, Kelsey Burke of Chaffetz's office has asked me to express her desire to have been here for this. She was unable to be here for other commitments, but asked me to please tell you that she's anxious to get this motion, and I reviewed it pretty much with her without some of the finalization that I got done just before our meetings. But she just wanted me to be sure and say that. She's supportive of what we're trying to do. She needs the motion to move forward and wishes she could be here. She plans to listen to it as soon as it's up on our audio. So let me make the motion.
Can we see a copy of this anywhere?
Let me just...
Or read it out loud for the public?
I'm going to read it, and it's a little touch different than what all the council have in front of them, because I asked Mr. Smedley to look at it. He's added some little changes. I will read it as he's fixed it, try to, okay? And he's here, and then you'll all hear it. It's on email. I'll send it just as soon as it's over. It'll be in the minutes or whatever. Mark asked for it this afternoon. He likes to have these things up. I guess it's my fault it wasn't, because it wasn't finished yet, but here goes. I move the following. Whereas the Heber City Council, as well as the City Airport Advisory Board, are in the process of several actions and decisions that are affected by whether or not the city, as the sponsor of the Heber Airport, is willing to expand the airport from a B2 to a C2 standard, parentheses, such as existing and potential FBO, SSO, and hangar leases, funding needs from the airport operations, and potential shortfalls needing funding loans from Heber City, etc. And whereas many city citizens desire the city to take a position for or against said expansion, and whereas there appear to be many yet to be determined or affirmed financial implications both from expansion to C1 or remaining a B2, and whereas it's in the city's interest to get final determinations of these implications as soon as possible in order to become better informed in our council airport decisions, as well as being able to better inform our citizens and others who are making decisions for activities at our airport. And whereas the City Council desires to make known its present sentiments about the airport status, while acknowledging the need for help in getting financial ramifications of not approving an expansion to a C1 rated airport. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved by the Heber City Council, Wasatch County, Utah, that Heber City adopts resolution number 2016-9, a resolution opposing the Heber City Airport becoming a C2 airport, and asking our congressional delegation and governor for assistance in confirming with the FAA the financial ramifications of our choosing to stay a B2 status airport, and now therefore it is hereby resolved by the Heber City Council of Wasatch County, Utah, that Heber City adopts resolution number 2016-10, that subject to the requirements of all applicable local, state, and federal rules, regs, laws, and statutes, and lawful procedures, no modification of the airport higher than Category B be approved without an official affirmation vote of Heber City residents enacted through a voters' initiative in accordance with Utah Code 20A-7-5, or a referendum or other legal and appropriate method approved by City Legal Counsel. I move that we adopt these two resolutions.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Crittenden to adopt resolution number 26-10 and 26-9, as he now presented from the council, and a second from Councilmember Franco. Is there any discussion on the council on the motion that's been stated? Talks of these resolutions.
You've got to restate the final paragraph again. There are a lot of changes.
Okay,
The final
and
paragraph.
thanks for Mr. Smedley for fixing those for me. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved by the Heber City Council, Wasatch County, Utah, Heber City, that Heber City adopts resolution number 2016-10, that, that subject to the requirements of all applicable local, state, and federal rules, regulations, laws, and statutes, and lawful procedures, I guess there's a comma, Mark? No modification of the airport higher than Category B2 be approved without an official affirmation vote or affirmative vote, of Heber City residents enacted through a voters' initiative in accordance with Utah Code 20A-7-5, or a referendum or other legal and appropriate method approved by City Legal Counsel, or other legal and appropriate method approved by City Legal Counsel.
Thank you.
I have a comment/question. So, this type of this is an election law issue. I just used to happen to know a lot about election law. This type of initiative would require people to get the petitions, and the petition that's going on right now would not qualify for a ballot question. It would have to go through that process.
It doesn't have to, though.
Are you sure?
Yes, the council can vote on their own without a petition and signatures. You can make that determination without the citizens going for a petition.
Because this section talks about local initiatives, so I'll have to read the law again, but unless that changed, it used to be.
The reason I think Mark put all these
Okay.
subject twos in here was maybe because of that concern. He can speak to it, but
Yes, if I may,
Am I
this
right?
is simply, well, I don't know. You might be.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. And so that's why I put all the subjects too. You're just talking about adopting a resolution to politically put out there that you want to be informed and that you're not, and that you're having the determination of the issue whether to go to expand or not to expand. And that's why I put all the language in. I don't know that you can have, and I think Ron would maybe agree, that type of a procedure where you have voters' initiative in accordance with this. I don't know that that's the proper procedure, but the resolution is simply stating, this is kind of what we feel like as a council right now. So subject to whatever the proper procedure is, we're putting that desire out.
well, and I approached Mark Anderson earlier today. I tried to get around everything to get this as close as we could get it. And I had the wording an ordinance in here rather than the second resolution. But I thought there might be some problem and addressed that, and Mark thought that for an ordinance we needed a hearing and we needed more stuff than we can do tonight. So that's why I reworded it this way. It's not, I mean, We're just talking about our intent that, I guess for the minutes, I want to show that what we're trying to do here is that, yes, we don't want to see a C2. Yes, we're aware there may be some financial ramifications. Yes, if we went to the public right now, I think a high percent, at least a firm majority, would be against it. But they may vote without knowing all the facts. And so I tried to encompass in here that with the help of the congressional delegation, if we don't preclude their efforts with a premature visit by Kristen, that through their efforts we can get to some answers we need so that our consultant can do their work to get us the financial information to go to the public too. If we spent millions of dollars through our consultant right now to tell us what it would cost us to not go to a C2, they could not get those answers without knowing the firm position of FAA. And I've been in politics enough, at the federal level included, and discussed this with Kelsey, who's now with the federal government, political side, that the folks on FAA may look at this different politically than Kristen may do in a meeting with our city council. And I do not want to see her make a premature determination that will box her superiors in before they've had a chance to politically consider what they're doing with some weigh-in from our delegation. Now, whether that succeeds in helping us, it will get to some firm answers one way or the other. But I don't want them to have to defend their staff's comments in our meeting before they even get the questions from our delegation. So that's some discussion about it. But I feel like this is as good a motion as I could get together, and I don't think it has serious flaws in it.
I totally support it. I'm just saying, I feel like it's a little bit misleading because this section does not allow a non-binding opinion question on the ballot without the initiative process. A referendum is the public weighing in after we've made a decision, and they can collect petitions and change that. An initiative is when the public gathers signatures in this specific process to put on the ballot. I'm totally supporting everything. I'm just saying, I think we're going to have to, if there's another law, the legislature has never allowed cities and local jurisdictions to put questions on the ballot that were non-binding opinion questions. So I'm just saying, I don't want the public to think, well, gosh, I'm signing this thing online, and when's it going to be on the ballot? Because I'm not sure we can. Other than that, I'm totally supportive of your intent. I'm supportive of letting people know where we are on this so that there's not all this confusion. I just feel like we need to fix that.
There's no implication in here at all that the petition that's now been put out there by private citizens is what we're looking to for this answer.
I know, but when we pass this and people say, yeah, we get to vote on it, they're going to think that that's an initiative petition.
I've even said in here, or other method, and our legal counsel has said, or other legal and appropriate method. So if it isn't by referendum, if it isn't by petition, what method is
There
it?
may not be a legal method to ask voters their opinion on something on ballot.
Then we'll put it out on our city,
Yeah, that's what,
our city
it's just a ballot.
billing or something else. But the point is, that referendum that's out there now has been highly criticized because the people are weighing in without knowing these other things.
I agree, I'm not criticizing.
No, I know, but I'm saying this is an effort to educate the public so that
And I just want to clarify what's up on the website of people signing that online petition. You know, you've even called it a referendum. It's not. It's not a referendum. It's not a binding petition. So it's just an online petition. So
People don't understand that.
yeah, but even Ron Crittenden just now said it was a referendum, and it's not. It's not even, it's just people's opinions.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
I just want to make the record clear too, just to protect you. This doesn't bind the council. The council has taken no action that I know of for or against the airport. This is simply, as Ron has indicated, a resolution to be in concert with the other resolutions that have gone to indicate and to educate people. It's not a referendum. You're taking a poll, like Tracy's indicated, that's out there. So I don't have any problem with it either, and that's why I put this subject to. I'm not sure that you can have that type as it's mentioned here in this last paragraph, but if we can, that's great, or any other process that allows, once you get that information. I'm also aware, and Mark, what is the name of the FAA guy that is coming? It's somebody that is,
John Bauer.
he's very, I think you ought to educate